Brand New Day by me. A brand new day, the sun is rising, my brain is waking, analysing how the day is to unfold. Will it be fun or slightly cold? Will it be hot or just lukewarm? Will I find love, be forlorn? Will I be safe upon the bus? Will I be late? Oh, so much fuss. I might stay home and watch the telly, flag the wash and stay all smelly. No brushing teeth or combing hair, rewear the same old underwear. Just lock the door and hide away and start from scratch another day. Nah, I'm only joking. I can't be sitting around on me chuff. I've got things to do, people to meet, places to be. I've got albums to make. Album number 5. Full sales, no glamour. The pros and the cons. Let's start as we mean to carry on. Phew. I'm getting far too old for this. Cue those trumpets, please. Now, hang on, no, stop, hang on. That is far too self-indulgent. Let's just get on with the job. Come on.
This is the Kindy Rockstars Podcast, Season 6. Bringing you incredibly talented singers, artists, creators, and producers in the genre of children's music. I'm your host, Patrick Adams. Each episode will feature songs, album features, or video features, and great stories from the artists themselves. Kindy Rockstars Season 6 is proud to be supported and sponsored by Waldmania Public Relations, serving the family entertainment community for over 20 years, and Debbie Derryberry Kids. Debbie Derryberry, one of Hollywood's most active and sought-after voiceover artists, is best known for voicing Jimmy Neutron in the Academy Award-nominated film Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, and Draculaura in Monster High. A lifetime musician and songwriter, Debbie has written and recorded 4 award-winning preschool music albums. Her song Baby Banana hit number 1 on Sirius XM Kid. Her song, written with Grammy-winning artist Lisa Loeb, called The Compost Bin, has won a Napa Award. Her latest album, Gotta Go Green, also a Napa winner, is all about giving kids tangible ways to save the earth through recycling, composting, reducing carbon footprint, and more. Her YouTube channel, Debbie Derryberry Kids, combines her love of cartoons and music with delightful animated videos of her songs. Children listen as well as watch, so a visual component is so important. Kindy Rockstars thanks you so much for your support, and now, on with the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Kindy Rockstars. I am happy to have back on the show my good friend, Captain Festus McBoyle. Welcome back.
Hello to you, sir. Mr. Patrick, how are you going?
I am doing great. And I'm excited to have you back on because we are actually doing a part 2 to an episode we did last season. If everybody goes back and checks out Season 5, Episode 39, we did an album feature for your upcoming album called Prose and the Cons. Prose, Prose, and the Cons. And we featured a number of songs, and we're just going to list them off because on this show, we're going to feature the rest. But on that episode, we did Holding the Baby, Laid with the Plague, A Slight Snag, Cat Be Free, Boil 'Em Up, and Baby Rap.
We did indeed.
So
what a package of songs.
That was a good time. That was an eclectic
I blew me
mix
candy
of
a bit
songs.
too soon there. I blew me candy a bit too soon. I tell you, there's 6 good bangers there, which is great. So yes, now we can follow up with the rest of the album, which when they run together, it's quite the journey. It's a fun trip. It's been another labour of love, 2 years in the making, and another album I'm very proud of. So yeah, the pros and cons. It's gonna blow your mind, hopefully.
Very cool. And as everybody may have noticed, we opened this episode with a song called Brand New Day, which is your intro to the album. So quickly kind of just tell everybody a bit about that one.
Well, it was a kind of a poem that just kind of came out from nowhere. And I wrote it down, scribbled it down on a piece of paper, and I thought, I'll record that. It's quite nice. And at the end, I thought, well, I need an intro. I always do an intro and an outro on the albums. And it just seemed to make sense as a nice little intro. A segue straight into the intro for the album. So it works nicely. I'm really pleased with it, and it's a bit more fun. I think I liked the old tape recorder coming on there with the with the trumpets. It was very kind of Muppets, I thought, kind of a little bit Muppetish there, and so it was a good start to the album. The journey has begun, so to speak.
Absolutely. All right. Well, before we get into the rest of that journey, it's been a few months since we talked. I think
It has.
you were one of my last episodes last season, and not long after the last season ended, I had a baby. So
Yes,
been
congratulations.
a busy time. Well, I didn't have the baby, my wife did, but we had a baby. Um, so I know it's been about 10 months since we talked. So what have you been up to the last 10
What
months
have
or
I
so?
been up to? Well, we've been gigging around a bit. We released obviously a video for Breathe that's just been nominated for Best New Zealand Children's Music Video, which we find out the results very soon. One of three finalists.
Deservedly
Um,
so.
yeah, just been writing, recording, the usual carry on. We're always busy at Pirate HQ. About to travel off to a place called Waiheke Island, which is a lovely island about an hour and a half away from Auckland, to do a couple of theatre shows in the next week or so. Yep, ducking and diving, wheeling and dealing as per, and yes, I guess plotting and planning. I guess once this album comes out, I'd like to think there might be another album called Trinkets and Treasure. We'll see how we go. It's in the lap of the gods. Get this one out of the way first, and then we'll start looking at a few more singles, and it may well eventuate into album number 6. Funding pending. Never a cheap process, as you well know. So it's in the hands of the funders. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, very good. I actually managed to get a grant for the first time for my upcoming album.
Congratulations.
So
Well deserved.
that was nice. It's nice to know they're out there.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well done. Well done. Well deserved.
All right. Well, let's get back on the journey of the pros and the cons. So we're gonna kind of just walk through the featured songs today, one by one, and you can tell us, hey, what inspired this? And I know a lot of these numbers are fairly short, but there's a lot of good times and fun and interesting uh, interesting sounds and topics and things like that with each. So
Indeed, and some of these really short songs ended up being the most expensive to produce. The irony of it all. Yeah, I'll get
not
into that a bit
surprised.
more later on. But yeah, what are we going to kick off with, Patrick? What do you
All
got?
right,
What are
so
you
we're going to
thinking?
start it off with Sonnet of the Sad Seahorse.
Ah ha ha! Yes, a psychedelic submarine journey under the sea, a bit Jules Vernish. The lyrics are complete gobbledygook. It's a seahorse having a whinge, basically, and there's also you are encouraged to enter into the submarine and travel multiple miles under the ocean while this seahorse babbles in your ear furiously. It's a journey, a psychedelic journey. So yeah, it's crossing of the genres. Psychedelic being the order of this track.
Right.
Enjoy.
Everybody check this one out. Here it is, Sonnet of the Sad Seahorse by Captain Festus McBoyle.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please fasten your seatbelts. We're about to submerge.
was Sonnet of the Sad Seahorse, and we move along now to Dad's poem. Talk about Dad's poem.
Dad's poem is exactly what it is. Dad's poem. This was a little poem that my dad used to recite to me when I was a tiny little kid. And it's a poem I've never forgotten. It is, of course, about farts and being proud of farting, not holding in something which should be let out. So Dad's poem is it. I really liked the idea of incorporating something quite different and musically. So hence the bagpipes. You can't beat a good bit of bagpipes.
I love
And
the bagpipes.
yeah, it's beautiful, and it works quite well with this little poem. So yeah, enjoy. It is actually a poem my dad used to recite to me many moons ago, and it still makes me giggle, and I haven't forgotten it in over 45 years. So there you go. It's
All right.
ingrained in me brain, so to speak. Dad's poem.
Awesome. Here it is, Dad's poem, Captain Festus McBoyle.
Now there's a rumour going round that the old captain suffers from flatulence. I just blame the dog. Here's a little poem my dad told me when I was just a nipper. There's a little puff of wind that comes from the heart. It travels down the backbone, and there it forms a fart. Farts are very useful. They give the body ease. They warm the bed in winter, and they suffocate the fleas. Wherever you may be, let your wind break free. In church or chapel, let it rattle. Is there any more of that cabbage left?
And that was Dad's poem. All right, next song is called Mr. Cheese, If You Please. Tell us about this one.
Okay, well, it's a song which is kind of about identification, transformation, and acceptance. It was never meant to be that way, but I realised, well, actually, it's actually quite appropriate. One of our guitarists was called Henry Hubbard, and he joined in about 2013. Stayed for a few years, and then he left, and then he miraculously came back, and he changed characters. He became Mr. Cheese the Rat. So in a roundabout sort of way, I guess identification, transformation, it kind of fitted. It touched on that to a degree, and plus it's a really fun little track, Miss Lucy on piano accordion, and it was done completely live on an iPhone, I kid you not, and then taken to the studio and doctored a wee bit and polished, and it is what it is. It's a little easy sort of sing-along little track, and lots of fun, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. All right.
Mr. Cheese, if you please.
Here it goes.
Little song about Mr. Cheese. I tell you what, if he touches my cheese, I'll cut his bleeding tail off.
He's a rat, he's a rat, he's a big dirty rat. He's a man. And he goes through the bins to fill his poo with food when he can. He's got teeth, two front teeth, those two teeth, they could chew through a tree. But he's our friend, he's our friend, he's our friend to both me and Lucy. And again, keep it going. He's a rat, he's a rat, he's a big dirty rat, he's a man. And he goes through the bins to fill his bucket with food when he can. Oh, he's got teeth, two front teeth, those two teeth they could chew through a tree. Oh, but he's our friend, he's our friend, he's our friend to both me and Lucy. Oh, he's a rat, he's a rat, he's a big dirty rat, he's a man. And he goes through the bins to fill his pocket with food when he can. He's got teeth, two front teeth, those two teeth, they could chew through a tree. Oh, buddy, he's our friend, he's a friend, he's our friend to both me and Lucy. We go again. He's a rat, he's a rat, he's a big dirty rat, yeah, he's a man.
But he identifies as a rat, and who are we to judge? I mean, come on, move on, geezer. Next song.
And that was Mr. Cheese, if you please. We're going to move on to another short but sweet but good song called Why Worry? Tell us about this one.
Well, Why Worry is it's a cover. It's a special song that my grandparents used to play when I was a tiny kid. And it was a song that was performed by a guy called Billy Cotton and his band way back in the early days. And it's always been a song that's resonated with me, and I like the message, why worry? It's simple as that. It was actually something that, again, was recorded on an iPhone, I kid you not, in a very special magical cave at Muriwai on the west coast of Auckland. And it was recorded completely in a cave. It is what it is, very minimal studio stuff done to it. It has a wonderful quality to it, and it's something quite special. And it's a bonus track on the album, so it's just a little musical a cappella right at the end there. It's a little tribute to my nan and granddad, and hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, no, the fact that it was recorded in a cave makes sense. Yeah, after I listened to it.
And it's a very magical cave. Do check out the Muriwai Cave. I'm not sure of the Māori name for it. I don't know. But it's like a big bell dome. And the sound in there is epic. And yeah, you can, if you listen to it, you can hear where I'm turning around clockwise just inside the cave, and the acoustics change as I turn around. And it's I think it's really magical. It's quite beautiful.
Love it.
And hopefully my nan and granddad hear it wherever they may be, and it puts a smile on their face as well.
Yeah, I bet it will. Here it is. Why Worry? Captain Festus McBoyle.
Why worry? Why worry? Worry gets you nowhere at all. Why worry? Why worry? Worry gets you nowhere at all. When those skies are darkest, don't despair. Just find that silver lining, 'cause you'll always find one there. So why worry? Why worry? Everything may be okay. If you feel that troubles are lying ahead, just forget to worry, count your blessings instead. So I worry. Why worry? Worry gets you nowhere at all.
That was Why Worry? And now we move on to Bath Poem. Talk about this one. Another funny one.
Well, this was a little poem I wrote. I was doing I constructed a semi-solo show called The Pros and Cons, which is available on YouTube. It's a very different historical show, which I formed for a special one-off kind of solo festival. And it was exploring facts and stuff about pirates. And I mean, obviously pirates, our hygiene wasn't particularly the greatest. Don't brush our teeth, don't bath. And it was a little poem that kind of came about out of, I guess, my reluctance to take a bath as a pirate. And it kind of speaks for itself. It's a fun little dig at being smelly and being a little bit lazy and unhygienic, and culminates with a rather little special package at the end, which we decided to leave in, much to my mother's disgust.
Excellent. Good setup. Here it is, Bath Poem.
Now, back in my day, taking a bath was a rare and beautiful thing. Not something I enjoy, to be perfectly honest. I prefers to smell au naturel, if you know what I mean. Here's a little piece called Bath Poem. It's been 3 long years since I swam in the abyss. A bathtub full of bubbles that I'd rather give a miss. 'Cause soaping up one's body and conditioning one's hair, whilst it might appeal to others, is a pirate's worst nightmare. I'd rather stay all grimy, with me clothes all full of fleas, potatoes in between me toes and fungus on me knees, a purple rash Beneath me pits, yeah, prickly heat or mould. And a stench I find appealing, if the truth is to be told. Black and dirt beneath my nails, yes, both my hands and feet. My boots, they house a pungent smell, the smell of rotten meat. My hat is but a dusty cloud, which floats above my head. And my nose is rather crusty, and it glows a shade of red. My face is somewhat spotty, and my skin is slightly green. My breath smells like a rubbish bin, and my teeth are far between. Oh, that wasn't meant to happen. I think we'll leave that in though. All right.
And that was Bath Poem. Now we move on to the rocker. This one is called Slug. Tell us about this one.
Did you like the little fart at the end there, Patrick? That was actually real.
Nice.
My sound
the
engineer was
authenticity.
horrified. Well, he made me scrub his bath out at the end of it, I tell you, because that actually was recorded in a bath, and there I was splashing around in me Y fronts, and yeah, I'll let one rip as you do when you're a pirate with no shame. Slug, interesting song. Well, I mean, I don't know whether you know much about my past, but I was very much heavily seated in the rock and rock sort of scene, original bands over the years, and I decided, seeing as this album was about crossing genres, I'd forgotten about doing a rock song. So I thought, okay, well, we've got to do a rock song. And if I do a rock song, it's got to be convincing. So the idea was to create a rock song, which was incredibly convincing, but also not scary to kids. And I wanted to have an educational angle. So Slugs was the thing that came to mind. Don't ask me why. But I played a 3-string slide guitar, which was built in the Coromandel. It's called Ned. And it was built by a guy called Mike Sale. And it was crafted from an old piece of wood, which was used in a horror movie called 30 Days of Nights. And so it's an oddball instrument, and that was the first little piece of music I wrote from it. And we plugged the old Ned 3-string guitar into a Marshall amplifier, cranked the hell out of it, and it sounded quite mighty. So it's a rock song. The idea was to try and create one which transcended into the adult market as well, and we succeeded. It actually made it onto about 6 or 7 different adult rock radio shows. Scotland, America, Australia, England. It was quite an amazing experience, and it travelled all over the world. And it was recorded with a good friend of mine, Scott Burst, who was my guitarist from one of my original rock bands back in the day. He jumped in on bass. I played the drums as Colin the Sheep. I won't go into that too much, but Colin the Sheep is a very interesting character. You'll find him in the mockumentary for Love Song for Lucy, if you want to check him out on YouTube. But it was it's a fully blown rock song with goats fully in the air, Patrick, I'll have you know. So convincing, educational rock song, Slugs. Very slimy.
All about the
and
rock
covered
songs.
in mucus. All about the rock songs.
All right. Well, here it is, Slug by Captain Festus McBoyle.
Slug, slimy, mucus, slug, blue blood, 4 noses, slug, 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 slug. Thousands of teeth, 40 kinds of slug, gastropods, hermaphrodites, slug, 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 slimy, sometimes cannibals, who from the head
that was Slug. All right, we're going to wrap up our song features here with a live song, Full Sails, No Glamour. Tell us about this one.
Okay, well, this was actually recorded live in a very famous theatre in Wellington called Bats Theatre. Amazing old haunted theatre, been around forever. And it was part of the show which I spoke of earlier, the Pros and Cons, which you can find on YouTube. It's a 45-minute one-man show, historical content. And it was the little interludes between the different acts. So what I did was I joined all the little interludes together. It was purely a cappella vocal with a little bit of ukulele underneath and a tiny little bit of atmospheric guitar. But if you listen to it, you'll hear thunder and lightning and stormy creaking of boats and stuff. And that was like the background that was kind of playing while we were performing in this spooky old theatre in Wellington. Yeah, completely live. It's there in all its glory, flaws and all. I just think it actually has a really nice energy about it. So it's yeah, interesting track. Full Sails, No Glamour. Sums up the life of a pirate quite nicely.
That it does. All right, well, we're going to play it. Here it is, Full Sails, No Glamour. Captain Festus McBoyle.
Traveling the ocean, sailing the breeze, riddled with scurvy and multiple fleas. The life of a pirate ain't glamorous, please, no. Hunting for treasure, looking for gold, horrible biscuits with weevils and mould, sniffing and sneezing a permanent cold. Achoo! There's no glamour at all. There's no glamour at all. No glamour at all. No glamour at all. There's no glamour at all. Comfortable living's a thing of the past. Stuck in a crow's nest on top of the mast. Tugging and diving, the thunder and lightning. Look out! It's close. Losing your teeth, losing your hair, living your life in the same underwear. Losing a leg and still nobody cares. There's no glamour at all. There's no glamour at all. I feel such a fool. I should have stayed at school. There's no glamour at all. Scrubbing the decks, hoisting the sails, weighing the anchor and wrestling with whales. The life of a pirate makes me feel irate and blue. Oh, the crew are all dodgy, nobody smiles, all constipated and suffering from piles. Nothing but ocean for miles and miles is true. There's no glamour at all. There's no glamour at all. I feel such a fool. I should have stayed at school. There's no glamour at all.
And that was Full Sails, No Glamour. All right, well, that wraps up the features on this episode. Once again, for everybody, if you want to hear the rest of the songs on the album, go back to Season 5, Episode 39. You'll get the songs and the stories for those. But the pros and the cons, that is going to be out in August. Is that correct?
It is indeed 15 tracks. It's quite an epic journey, actually. Yeah, I even left one off, so that'll be on hopefully the next album. But yeah, 15 tracks coming out early to mid-August this year.
Very good.
Exciting
And
times.
just assuming it can be streamed, purchased, downloaded on all of the major and
Definitely.
download
Yep.
avenues. How else can people find and connect with you?
The best way is just to go onto captainfestus.com. It's a one-stop shop. It has all our links to our Spotify, our YouTube, everything, all our socials, lovely photo galleries, and all our live videos, documentaries, and showreel pieces. It's all there, captainfestus.com. You'll find everything. It's all in one place. One-stop shop.
Awesome. Well, as always, it is great to have you on the show. You mentioned there were 15 songs on the album, and anyone who's like counting is thinking, wait a minute, you've only played 14 between the last episode and this one. There is a 15th, and that's what we're going to close this show with. The song is
Exactly.
called Outro. So tell us.
It is outro. I like to do an intro and outro for every song. And I'd been wondering what I was going to do for an outro. And I record at a place called Show Pony Studios with Amos Clark in Auckland, Onehunga. And I was walking down to get my cup of tea before I went into the studio. And there's a lovely big old church there. And I heard this massive church organ belting out hymns. And I thought, my goodness, that's great. So I knocked on the door and they let me in, which was kind of cool. And I met this wonderful woman who was from the Eastern Bloc of Europe. And she had a terrible flu. And she was sniffling and snuffling. And I said, look, could I please record your organist stuff? And she said, yeah, sure. So I took my phone in and I stuck it and then I recorded the whole thing. And there were lots of mistakes. And she said to me, please don't put my mistakes in. I said, well, don't worry about it. It's going to all come together nicely. So what I did was I utilized her for the outro, which, not many albums have a church organ on them. So I thought, well, that's another little crossing of genres. And it's a comical little piece about an organist that's been on the sugar drinks, shall we say, and her fingers are a bit wobbly. So it's their mistakes and all. And I think it was a wonderful way to end the album. She was a lovely woman. She promised me that I'd keep her anonymous, and I have. And she was a lovely woman. I'm sure she's over a cold now, but she was incredibly snotty. And I think I got a bit of her cold after the fact anyway, so maybe there's a bit of karma there for leaving the mistakes in. But a lovely woman and a lovely little piece and a fine way to close what is the Pros and Cons album number 5 for Captain Festus McBoyle. Very proud of this album, and it's an epic journey. And once again, thank you so much for having me, Patrick. You're a wonderful man. I love what you're doing. And may the funding keep coming your way, my friend. For both of us.
Both of us. Absolutely.
We work hard. Yeah.
Best of luck with this album. All of your albums are great.
Thank you so much.
Go check out his entire library. One of the true originals here in our genre. So great to have you on.
Thank you so much. We like to keep it fresh. We like to keep it different. It's all about celebrating difference and diversity and full inclusion. Yeah. Celebrate the tall poppies. Be different. Dare to be different.
Definitely. All right.
There's room for us all.
Here it is. Outro by Captain Festus McBoyle.
Over and out.
Well, there you go. That's the end of album number 5. The Pros and Cons. Goodness me, I surprise myself sometimes. 5 albums. That's bleeding good, that is. I have to say it was still hard work though, so I'm thinking I'm fairly justified in putting on my pyjamas, getting out my slippers, making myself a nice pot of tea, and curling up on the couch for a bit of a nine-eyes. I ain't getting any younger, you know. Big thanks to those lovely people at New Zealand On Air for funding the album. I'll definitely try to keep popping them out from this end. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. Take care and keep out of trouble, and I hope to catch up with you all very, very soon. Tell you what, I have to be honest, it's sounded like the organist has been on the sugar drinks again. Goodness me. Kids, stay off the sugar drinks. They make your fingers all wobbly. On that note, I guess it's a case of, over and out. Oh, there she goes again. It's not okay, you know. I paid her to do this track. Very unprofessional. Gonna have to have a word with her. I do say people could change their ways, so maybe she will come right. Who knows?
Dee 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 dee.